Hey y'all, it's fall. It's officially fall and it's 70 degrees out here. Super weird, but let's do a quick end of summer fall garden tour. So as you can see, the garden is wild. These coreopsis flowers got way bigger than I expected them to, and they have taken over and made it really hard to get around in here. These queen lime zinnias are still growing strong. I'm still harvesting them. I'm still picking them very frequently so they keep making flowers and buds and blooming. I've got the queen lime blush zinnias, the queen lime reds, and the queen lime oranges, and they are absolutely gorgeous. These large plants back here are my Tumeric plants. I've got 5 of them. So I made it over here past all of the flowers and bees to the Tumeric plants, and you can see that this leaf is starting to turn yellow, and that is because the weather's getting cooler, and the Tumeric plants are starting to turn yellow, and sometime in October, maybe late October, the whole plants will die back, and then it's time to dig up the roots. And I wanted to show you these flowers. This is the flower of the Tumeric plant. It's got some shade on it, but there you go. It's a beautiful flower, and it's dripping right now. Yeah, I love growing turmeric, and I can't wait to harvest it. I've got a couple of volunteer tomato plants in this flower and herb garden over here, and I just let them grow, and they are completely taking over everything. That's just one tomato plant over there that's just taking over. It's spilling over onto the other side of the fence, and I've got another one in that corner that you can see is just going wild. But it's been fun to get unexpected tomatoes from those volunteer plants. All right, now let's go check out the vegetable garden. Maybe we'll get to harvest some okra and some peppers. Let's see. So these cowpeas behind me, this was my first time growing cowpeas, which are essentially black-eyed peas, and I will always grow them from now on because I am so impressed with how prolific these plants are. They're huge. They've taken over this trellis, and the black-eyed peas are delicious. I love them, and they just, yeah, they produce so much. You can see what I'm talking about here, how massive these plants are, and you know, they produce tons and tons. Unfortunately, I've got to figure something out because I've had something come through here and just eat all of the beans out of these pods, and I think it's got to be birds because it's so methodical and precise. I think it's birds, and I'm gonna try some things to see if I can't stop that from happening. We come right around underneath the trellis. We can see my purple beans. I need to come out here and harvest purple beans to have for dinner this week. These are green beans, but they're just purple. They're just purple green beans. And when you cook them, they turn green, but I will definitely grow these again next year because they've been really great. So the lima beans, I have not harvested any lima beans yet because the pods have just been staying flat. They're supposed to, and they fall off. They stay flat and then they fall off. And I finally figured out that I think it was water. I wasn't watering them at all. I just thought that they were gonna have enough water since my other beans and cowpeas had enough water. We've recently had a ton of rain though, and I'm hoping that maybe I fertilized them and we've had a ton of rain, so I'm hoping that maybe if the water was the problem, maybe they'll start to fill out and I can eat some lima beans. Yeah, I mean, as you can see, it's just, if these were doing what they were supposed to, I would have tons and tons of lima beans. So I'm disappointed in that, but I'm still hopeful. See, this makes me hopeful because this one's actually starting to plump up more than any of them have thus far. So yeah, maybe I'll get some lima beans. This is a Jarradale pumpkin plant, a big blue-gray type pumpkin, and I planted it in the flower and herb garden in some empty space, and it's making its way out here. So maybe we'll get some pumpkins. We don't have much time before the frost. We've got maybe 5 or 6 weeks before we might get a frost, so we'll see. Might get some pumpkins. These are some watermelon vines that I planted really late, and I don't really know what I was thinking except that I really wanted some watermelons, but the squash bugs are still a big problem, and so I've been getting little, fruits like this that just, I think the squash bugs have been harming the fruit there. This was the trellis that had my cucuzza vines on it, and they got disease, and so they are all dried up and done now. But I did harvest like 5 or 6 huge cucuzza gourds. The tomatoes are still hanging on. As you can see, it's all dark and scraggly towards the bottoms, and they got really tall, reached up, and then fell over. So they're on their way out, but I still have a lot of green tomatoes that are coming along. And the caterpillar pressure is actually a little bit less than it was maybe a month or two ago. I still have a good bit of fruit to harvest. Check out my okra patch. My first round of okra that I planted pretty early in the spring, not too early, you know, after the last frost date in the spring. I planted okra, and then it got all of my plants got eaten by bunny rabbits or chipmunks or something, just devoured all of my okra plants. So I had to start over. So I planted these really late, but I'm so excited because I'm finally getting some okra. And I've got the Clemson spineless, which is just these lovely green plants here. And then I've got, this is Jing orange okra from Baker Creek. You can see like the lovely red stems and the veins in the leaves, and the okra itself is red. It's a little bit hard to see that. There is the red okra. It's lovely. And I haven't cooked it yet, so I don't know if it turns green when it's cooked, like the purple green beans, but I just thought that was the coolest thing ever, to have red okra. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest some okra. As you can see from all of these gorgeous pepper plants, it has been, as I predicted, my year for awesome peppers. I planted these peppers really late in the season. I can't remember if it was June or July, but I planted them late, but I knew I had enough time to get a harvest before my first frost date, and I'm getting tons of peppers. So starting on this end, I've got the Thai red chili peppers. I think they're bird's eye Thai chilies, but they, as you can see, they produce a ton of fruit. And I've already harvested tons of these little red chilies, and I'm going to ferment them and make hot sauce, as well as probably string a bunch of them up onto thread and dry them. I've also got jalapenos, tons of jalapenos in here. Little babies. Yeah, so I've definitely got more peppers than I've ever had. And I've got a couple of eggplant plants mixed in here with the peppers. And I've already harvested a few. There's a little eggplant. Ooh, here's one that's got to be a Rosa Bianca eggplant, as opposed to, so that looks like it's going to be a Rosa Bianca eggplant, whereas this is like a black beauty. And I've never had the Rosa Bianca, so I'm excited to try it. Over here on the end are banana peppers and bell peppers, and I don't have any supports on my pepper plants. I think next year I might do a couple of stakes. So all of these bell pepper plants have fallen over, but they're fine. I mean, they've fallen over, but they're doing great. And I've got here's a good looking bell pepper. It's a pretty good size. And I've got a couple more hiding under here. And those are red bell peppers. They will turn red when they're ripe. You can pick them when they're green, of course. And another bell pepper plant there. These are my banana peppers. And they are pretty prolific. I've harvested a lot of banana peppers already. So yeah, it's been a great year for peppers. Yeah, definitely don't be discouraged if it's late in the season and you're not sure if you should plant something. Do look at your first frost date and figure out when your first frost date is, and figure out how many days you have left before your first frost to see if you have enough time to grow something. But that's what I did. It was later than everybody usually plants peppers, but I planted them and I'm getting a great harvest. I already harvested as much corn as I could get. I didn't get a huge harvest because I only planted 16 square feet of corn, and I had a lot of caterpillar damage. The army worms were really brutal to my corn this year, but I did get a small harvest. But that's all that's going on in the garden right now. All of the summer things are winding down, and I have already ordered some seeds that should be in the mailbox later today, and I'm going to show you guys how I plant fall crops. So I've already got some spaces halfway prepared, and I've got a lot of work to do in order to get a couple more spaces to plant some fall crops, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, definitely hit the like button and subscribe, because I have got a few surprises coming up in the next few videos for you guys. There are going to be some changes to the channel, so yeah. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and you will be able to find out what's in store. Thanks for watching. Happy growing.